Welcome! Today, we're going to break down the fundamentals of deep learning. We're getting right to the core of what it is, how it actually works, and why it's become this incredibly powerful force, especially for understanding human language.
So let's start with the basics. You hear these terms thrown around all the time, right? Machine learning, deep learning, AI. They often get tangled together, but they're not exactly the same thing. So what really is deep learning, and where does it fit in this whole picture?
All right, let's get our bearings and map out the landscape. It's really important to get this. Deep learning isn't some separate thing competing with machine learning. Nope. It's a specialized and honestly a very, very powerful subfield of it. Think of it like one of the sharpest, most advanced tools in the entire machine learning toolbox.
At its heart, what deep learning does is use algorithms that are modeled after the way neurons in our own brains connect and talk to each other. It's a whole paradigm inspired by biology, really. We're trying to build systems that can learn from just observing data, kind of like how we do.
This brings us to the big question. Why? Why has deep learning become so unbelievably effective, especially over the last decade or so? A huge part of the answer comes down to just one thing: data. Lots and lots of data.
And this chart right here, it tells the whole story so clearly. Your traditional machine learning models are great, don't get me wrong, but their performance tends to hit a ceiling. It plateaus after you feed it a certain amount of data. Deep learning models, on the other hand, well, they're data hungry. The more you feed them, like all the text from the internet for a language model, the better and better they get at understanding all the nuance and context.
Okay, so the ability to use massive amounts of data is obviously a game changer. But that still leaves one central question hanging, doesn't it? What does the deep in deep learning actually refer to? Is it about how complex it is, or something else?
You know, the answer is surprisingly simple. The term deep literally refers to the number of layers in a neural network. That's it. A so-called shallow network might have just one hidden layer of neurons sitting between the input and the output. A deep network, it just has more than one, multiple layers. It's that straightforward.
So, yeah, it really is that simple. The deep part isn't some abstract fuzzy concept. It's a literal description of the architecture. The real magic is what those extra layers allow the system to do. They let it learn progressively more complex and abstract things from the data. So for a language model, an early layer might just learn individual words. The next one learns grammar, and a much deeper layer starts to understand things like sentiment or sarcasm.
So now that we know deep just means more layers, the next obvious question is, what are those layers actually made of? What are the fundamental building blocks that let these networks learn in the first place?
Well, these layers are made up of tons of interconnected nodes, which we call artificial neurons. And the whole structure, that's what we call an artificial neural network. And like we said, the whole design is meant to loosely imitate how our own brain is wired. Let's dig in and see how it's built, starting with just a single neuron.
Each individual neuron is basically a tiny little computational unit, a mini decision maker. Here's how it works. It gets signals from other neurons. It decides how important each of those signals is by giving it a weight. Then it adds them all up. Finally, it makes a decision. Should I fire and pass a signal onto the next layer, or should I just stay quiet?
This whole process happens in a few quick, distinct steps. The neuron takes in data. It weighs how important that data is. It adds it all together, and then this special function, called an activation function, makes the final call on the output. And that decision point, that is absolutely crucial for the network's ability to learn anything at all.
And that brings us to the activation function. It's like the gatekeeper. It's the thing that decides if the combined signal is strong enough to be passed along. But even more importantly, these functions introduce something called nonlinearity. That's just a fancy way of saying they let the network learn really complex relationships, not just simple straight-line connections.
One of the classic types is the sigmoid function. The best way to think of this one is like a dimmer switch for a light. It doesn't just decide on or off. It smoothly squishes any input value into a nice, clean range between 0 and 1. This is super useful for things like figuring out the probability that a customer review is positive.
Then there's another hugely popular one called ReLU. Now, if sigmoid is a dimmer switch, ReLU is more like a simple on-off switch. If the input signal is positive, it lets it pass right through. If it's negative, it just outputs 0. Now, that might sound too simple, but that efficiency is its superpower. It allows these massive networks to learn much, much faster. So we have these simple little building blocks, right? Neurons that weigh things and activation functions that act like switches. So what?
Well, here's where the real magic happens. When you connect thousands, millions, or even billions of these simple units and stack them into deep, deep layers, you create a system that can actually learn. It can learn to translate languages, summarize huge documents, and even generate text that feels human, solving problems we once thought were basically impossible for a machine.
The key takeaway here, really, is that deep learning isn't magic. It's the amazing power that emerges when you stack simple, brain-inspired parts one on top of the other. It's the depth of these layers combined with massive amounts of data that unlocks the ability to understand something as complex as human language. Which leaves us with a fascinating question. As these networks get even deeper, are they just getting better at imitating intelligence, or are they starting to develop a totally new form of it? If you enjoyed this breakdown, please do like, share, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.